me personally, I came here when I was younger. When I was at school, found out about this, and I came along, and ever since I'm still coming here 10 years later.
I started an apprenticeship with Dundee City Council in youth work, and then as part of that started working with Alan with the volunteers, the employability side of it, so like training them up to know the stuff that they need to know about working here. So worked with him through that, and then eventually got employed by United to do this as well.
Used to start off coming out, helping out, putting the bibs out, goals out, helping out with the United staff, and then after that you would get a contract from Alan for Dundee United and to work for them. But not only just a leader, you become mature in different ways, different aspects. Like I used to be quite lazy when I was younger, but even just coming here on time and that, it used to drive me forward. Maybe coming to school on time, and not only that, it was just to help me in every aspect. You know what I mean?
See, I started playing, and then obviously I didn't know nothing about the employment here. It was just basically because you found out about from friends and from my brother and that, there was just a local game of football. There was nothing about employment. But once you obviously started that, it kept you off. Like in my days, it was it was kind of rough when I was growing up in the street. And I've got a few boys that they went elsewhere. And majority of my pals came. Some of them are still here, but we've obviously stick by this and got ourselves in the right path sort of for this project.
I started coming here when I was like 10, 11 and just to play some football with like the boys, because I'd always just go about with boys. And then when I was about 12, 13, Alan spoke to me and he was like telling me about all the opportunities I could get through the project. So I started volunteering when I was 13 and I got employed just last year when I turned, well, just before my 17th birthday, so I was volunteering for a long time. Yeah, and I've been working for like 5 years. But when I first started coming, I was really a nervous person. I wouldn't speak to anybody. It would all be older boys. They'd all be ages with my big sister, and it's 3-4 year gap between us, and I would have to play football with them, and it was I was so scared. And then when I started volunteering, that's when I started to come out of the shell a bit more, and I was able to I could speak in big groups now, and I could do presentations and stuff. I'm not that scared anymore. And through the project, we have this thing at our school, and it's a music thing, and it's a competition thing, and I never sang in front of anybody before, not even my family, and I put in for it, and I got help from Alan and different people at the project to build up my confidence before all this, and I went and done it, and it was really good.
It started initially about 13-14 years ago, and it was Alan was working in the community. He just moved into this community to work, and there was a group of young people that were involved a lot of antisocial behaviour outside where we were. Unfortunately, there was one boy that we knew that actually passed away climbing factory roofs and things like that. So they got together as a group and decided they need to do something to stop causing havoc out on the streets. So this is what they came up with, this is what they wanted, and ever since it's always been what young people want. So that's what you've got to go by, you've got to listen to see what they want. Yeah, and ever since it's just been an ongoing thing. I was initially involved in the first peer mentoring group, so there was a group of 5 or 6 of us that decided that we need to take this on. Yeah, and ever since it's just been an ongoing thing.
It has to be tailored to their needs. So if it's young people running it, and it's not old people who are, I don't know,
just doing a job.
If it's young people, it means their heart and soul's in it, and they're doing it because they love this project and this is what they want to be involved in. They want the project to be the same for years to come down the line.
Well, I think that's good that Alan's giving young people the opportunity to help out and work with Alan.
I think about employability, they learn here and then they want to give back to the community, and they do that by getting a role with Dundee United, who are involved in this project. They've become a massive employer with us. They're helping, giving loads of opportunities for them to do things within their community. So we've actually been announced as one of the biggest employers for small businesses and stuff as well. Since Dundee United have been involved, I think there's been over 50 employees that came through the system. Yeah, so the reason that they do it is because they want to do it. It's not like we're forcing them to do it. They want to make changes in the community. They want to do things for young people, just like we wanted when we were younger.
Don't need to pay to come on. It's funded, and it's funded every year. So every year there's a funding bid that gets put in based on all this kind of stuff like we're doing now, that there's a need and that, like, the amount of young people that are here right now. So on that basis, the people who give the funding will know that there's a need for this, so they'll refund it because they know that people are getting a lot out of it and that people are getting employed, so it's ticking a lot of boxes.
I think the importance of being a drop-in is that they don't feel pressured they need to come at a certain time. They don't feel like, oh, if I'm not there I'm not going to get in, and then that could end up really affecting them and maybe causing them to go and doing something that they shouldn't be doing. So for be a drop-in, they know that they can come here and talk to us about anything if they need to, and then they can get involved with the football whenever they want, if that's what they want to do. So yeah, being a drop-in is the only way this would work, I think.
Yeah.
If we tried to say, right, you've got to be here at 8:30 or the gates get closed, I think it would kind of go downhill after that. And so the drop-in's, yeah, a massive thing.
Probably hanging about the streets and that, but
It's keeping us off the streets, getting us something to do. It's
Yeah.
keeping us healthy.
it's keeping us safe as well.
And then about the community, it's like, it's not really the best of areas, to be honest. It isn't like, it's quite rough, to be honest. Like, there's kids at the shop all the time, and this gets them away from that. It gets them away from like drinking on a Thursday and a Friday. It lets them escape.
Dundee City Council have got a plan for how they want Dundee and this area to be in the next 10 years' time, 2026. So how they want it to be and what they want in it. So they want certain things like
Safer community, reducing employment and health benefits. So
providing a service for dropping crime in the community, so safer places for the community. Providing a service for that, so that means police not getting involved as much. There's no need for the police to be involved. It's so that they've got some place to come on a Thursday and a Friday night from 8 till 10:30, and that we'll be here every single week.
I think it's physically improving them as well, because they're active for the 2 hours they're here. So that's an important thing for us. There's also mental health as well. As Alan had mentioned before, there's a lot of them that are referred here from certain services. So for them knowing if they've got struggles going on in their life, that they know that us here are not just workers providing football, we're also qualified in other things that we can sit down and speak to them and try and benefit them and get things off their chest if they need to.
I mean, it's not all about the football here, you know what I mean? It's a sort of thing to say healthier mind, sort of, if you know what I mean. It gets them off of the streets, comes into here, we teach them, we sort of teach them like a bit about manners and like that, you know what I mean? It's a bit, you don't want to go too personal, but it's like you can give them a helping hand, you know what I mean? And they do listen to you, and it's good seeing some of the boys that I've, obviously when I went away for that year and I came back and they're still here, I was like, you must be doing something right, and I don't think there's any other community like this. It's employed so many people through this, and I think that's what Alan was saying. I'm sure, I don't know the numbers, but I think it's like 40 plus 50 have been employed since this started, and the numbers just show for itself. I don't think any other community's probably done that.
We've got all the support here that a lot of them will come to us and tell us, because if you had coaches in here, like so you had actual main football coaches coming down from a team, they would probably not want to tell them anything, but because we're young people as well, they feel more than comfortable to come along and say, can I talk to you for a minute on the side? And that way they know they've got young people who have went through the same sort of stages to go and speak to and relate to. It feels amazing, because when I was younger, a lot younger, some of the kids we've got here are primary 5, 6, 7, I never really had somebody like a big sister or anybody to go to, so I know that barrier that some people have. But when a project like this and you've got young people working there, you're like, they're the same as me, like, and you can go, are you alright, like, and make sure they're okay, rather than having them that wall that I used to have, so you can connect to them.
If it wasn't run by us, it would just be by like coaches who don't really care, because like we know the area, we know the kids, and like we've been around the kids, so it's like, if it wasn't us, then would they really be getting like looked after? Like, I've been working with Alan since I first started coming, and like he's been a big impact on like my life, and like I don't know. You never know what where it'd be without the support we get here.
Yeah, just the fact that that everyone, there's young people who get, what will happen is when they go to school, they might have stuff going on at school, and for that reason, they'll get asked to pick when they pick their subjects in third year, they'll do the training course with Alan, and if I done it before with Alan, I done it, delivered it to Alan, I think you're doing that now, and basically what that means is they'll get trained up on all this stuff and all the knowledge they'll need to come and do this, and they'll volunteer, and then by the end of that year, when they're about 16, maybe some of them will be a bit younger than that, they'll get employed by Dundee United to do this, so they're getting employed, so then that's breaking down on employment rates.
If it wasn't for this, I don't know what we'd be doing. The benefits I've had from this is such as I've not got any qualifications to be a youth worker or anything like that. I've just got experience, and it's all down to this project I've got it in. So since being involved with this, I was volunteering for 2.5 years, and after that I got a chance to, they actually created several part-time jobs for the young people who were delivering the session within the council, and ever since I started there, and I got more opportunities to do better things. I've had countless helps with applications, getting into college, yeah, and just becoming a better man rather than just sitting about doing nothing. It gets me up to do things. I'm still coming back after 10 years, so it shows how much it means to me, you know what I mean?
I managed to get into the Scottish Youth Parliament and stuff, got elected, and I was on the Dundee Youth Council as well. I got that out of it, so I was able to speak in front of people. Before I would never be able to speak in front of people, and now I'm more than happy. It's just more getting the young person's voices heard from your constituency. So I would go into different areas of Dundee, and I would kind of like surgeries, but not to that extreme. And you would just kind of do a forum, and you would see what they would like to change in their area, how to get funding and stuff, and then you would take it back to the Scottish Youth Parliament and refer on it and have action taken. Free football, which gets them off the streets for 4 hours a week at night. They're off the streets, they're not causing bother them at the shops, they're in a safe environment, and I would say they're pretty well looked after with the staff we've got here.
The most rewarding part is mixing different races together as well, because not only just I bring a good few of my cousins here as well, and they tell their friends, their aging friends, and it kind of mixes, it helps that, so that's one of the main things as well, do you know what I mean? That's not only obviously bringing the races together and that as well, the most rewarding part is working for the community. That's the main thing, I'd say. It's just like helping the streets, helping other people come off the streets and this and that, you know what I mean? They could be doing a lot of things, not only just coming to football, they could be doing other things on like on the streets, getting in trouble with the police, like, you know what I mean, just loads of different things you could be doing, but the most rewarding part is seeing them growing up to be something better.
From not just a job, just total confidence. I wasn't the confidence in school, I was never the popular kid in school, you know what I mean? It's just, but once I started, it gave you that boost, and a lot of people will probably tell you tonight, it does, the confidence level does shoot through the roof, it's crazy. And I've seen it just not with the employers, the employees, the kids themselves, the children. You see them, like one of the two kids that I'll not say names, but you wouldn't just see them shy away, or you would leave early, you'd get sort of pushed to the side. But now I've seen one guy recently, he's just turned on his wheel, he's coming up, speaking to everybody, making a laugh over. I'm like, it's kind of good seeing that, because when I went away, he'd never even speak to you, never even know your name, you know what I mean? And it's good, it's nice.
Since I started here, I was only meant to be here with my work with the council. I was only meant to be here doing hours originally, and I enjoyed it so much that I spoke to Alan. He was like, we'll get you employed through United, so that when my contract ended with Dundee City Council, I was employed with United to do it. So yeah, it was one of my favourite groups that I'd done. One of my favourite. I loved everything about it. I loved how gritty it was and stuff, and how it was a bit mad, but also good at the same time, kind of thing.
Just one more thing, I think it helps the young people seeing the same faces week in, week out, so they're not coming thinking, oh, I've got something to speak about, but he's not going to be there, it might be somebody else that's there this week. So having the same faces every week, I think it helps them, and that's why it keeps them coming along as well.
I'd like to say a huge thank you to Alan for running the disc and give us an opportunity to play football here.